Hi guys, welcome back. It's Tommy with three recent replays from October 2024. Nice replays here in between Flash and Best, as we have spawned here in the upper left part in the blue. It is Flash with his AK, and in the low right in the white it is Deer, also a very known figure into the Starcraft South Korean scene. So the games have been played on the South Korean ladder, like I told you, in October 2024. Finally I got myself some nice replays here for you. So yeah, it's a 4 spawning location map in game number 1. Let's just have a look what exactly the build orders are going to be, as we have of course here in the upper left part the production tab from both players. So yeah, it should be a very interesting series here. We have the Protoss opening up here pretty standardly with his pylon next to his gas. I'm pretty sure Flash is going to continue with his supply depot, once again leaving this gap here open to micro his SCV out of danger. And yeah, let's just have a look what exactly the builders are going to be. Is Flash going to continue with a barracks? Is he perhaps going into a command center first? It could be a possibility, of course, given the fact that it is a 4 spawning location map. Same can be said here for the Protoss. Very recent strategies from the Protoss. They really like to go into Nexus first, and it looks like Deer is actually saving up money here for an expansion. And let's have a look. Indeed, it looks like a fast expansion build order for him, or is it perhaps gateway into gas? No, it's actually going straight for a fast expansion build order. So not that much of a risky gameplay, given the fact that it is a 4 spawning location map. We have Flash also opening up here with his barracks next to his expansion point, as he's also scouting here the map. So if Flash is going to find out about this, of course he might try another bunker rush, like we've seen him do in recent replays here onto this channel. Might also try a timing push with some tanks, with some vultures in the front, with some Goliaths against the shuttles from the Protoss. Could be a possibility here for him, as the Protoss continues here with his gateway and his gas. So a nice triangle once again getting built here by the Protoss. A very interesting strategy here, perhaps to give the Protoss more power. So a very beautiful triangle once again created here by the Protoss. And let's have a look how this is going to unfold as the SCV is moving here forward, scouting the map. Sadly here for Flash, completely in the wrong direction. So a very mis-scouted here for him, as he's also going for his expansion with another supply depot, and very soon he might go into his first factory as the scouting continues. Perhaps Flash is going to move now into the low right. No, he's still scouting, so sadly for him, losing some time here. But of course you never know where exactly the opponent is located. As even now the Nexus has actually finished here for the Protoss, as he's still 1 worker behind, but still his Nexus from the timing is much faster here for him, as we have a bunker actually getting produced here for Flash. So Flash was expecting some harassment, but little does he know that it is indeed a macro orientated, economic orientated gameplay here by the Protoss. And in comes the SCV, sees the timing, sees that there is already some probes mining here, as he's now moving forward towards the main. And it's a double gateway build order here for the Protoss with a cybernetic score. So we might see massive amounts of Dragoons getting produced very soon here for Best. Sorry, for Deer. I believe I even said at the beginning of the game that it's Best. It's actually Deer. And we have actually the factory getting built here for Flash. So this could be of course a transition into mass tanks, mass mech units for the Terran. Always a good idea versus the Protoss. And the SCV is still just staying around here, trying to be a little bit annoying, but a nice micro here by the Protoss, and I'm pretty sure that the SCV is going to fall very soon. Nicely microed double gateway into robotics facility perhaps. Yes, indeed, there is a robotics facility with range also now getting started for the Protoss. And it's a double factory actually here for Flash. Could it be a triple, even quadruple factory for him with some add-ons? We're about to find out, as both players pretty much at the same worker count. Economic wise, it's going to turn into a little bit of a defensive gameplay here now. Let's see which one of the two players is going to decide to attack first. Of course the barracks is now getting used for some scouting purposes, in case there's going to be a shuttle attack here by the Protoss. We might see even some observers by him. And yes, indeed, there we have the observatory. So no intentions for him to go for an early harassment. Straight observatory, and an interesting build order here by the Protoss. Perhaps some units might get blocked here in between, or perhaps they will get a boost moving out here as the buildings are really close, clumped up together here. So nice SimCity build order here by the Protoss as the wall-off is pretty much completed. So pretty much great defensive gameplay here, and it looks like Deer is also going to take his other expansion point. So with that, it might be a reaction from Flash immediately with a timing push around the 9-minute, like we've seen this doing him before, but he's pretty much expecting a harassment here. He's still roaming around with his Vulture, not deciding to move out, going into all of those upgrades, weapons 1, mines and speed for the Vultures, even some Goliaths. So he's indeed expecting an attack with a shuttle very soon, but no intentions, like I told you, by the Protoss for this. He is just nicely placing his units as well here, also gaining more and more of a map vision here. So very nice game here by Deer, as now the Observer is moving out, checking for some mines from the Vultures, and in comes the movement here by Flash, sees the pylon, but there's also pylon here. So nice mind game here by Deer, trying to fool Flash perhaps into thinking that it's going to be a triple base from the Protoss, but Flash with his soon-to-be speed, actually speed has been done for the Vulture, is moving out here, just trying to gain more and more map control, more map vision as the game continues. We have passed towards the 5-minute mark, we're closing towards the 10-minute mark. Yeah, Flash is still scouting the map. It's very important to see what exactly your opponent is up to, what exactly his strategy is. And yeah, still a defensive gameplay here for Deer with his Dragoons not moving out, just sending out his observers here onto the map. But I believe the Goliaths might have sniped this observer. Let's just have a look. No sniping there. So yeah, the observer might be hidden. Yeah, there it is. So the observer still gaining important information here, sees that there is another factory getting produced. So could this be the timing push here from Flash, as he also decides to go into a comsat to gain more and more vision of what exactly the Protoss is doing. In the meantime, just a casual move out here by the Protoss, deciding to snipe some mines here from the opponent. So very nice and a cautious gameplay here, very well calculated gameplay here by both players. And there is another mine here getting detected. So with that, the Protoss might try to take this expansion point right here. Let's see if this is indeed going to be his plan, as he's actually going into a double starport here for him. Could this be carriers? Yes, indeed, we do have a transition into carriers all of a sudden, but is it going to be enough here for Deer, as Flash might scan this area right here? So it's a nice hidden starport. Could of course hit it into another place, perhaps here would have been better to avoid some scanning, but then again he decides to go for this location. The fleet beacon is nicely hidden, and there we have the first carriers getting produced here with even one Reaver for Deer. So quite a nice gameplay for him. We're at the 8-minute mark and he's already starting his carrier gameplay versus Flash. There were some Goliaths here getting produced by Flash, but his main army is of course tanks with Vultures. And yeah, the game continues. Let's see if Flash is going to be caught off guard with this interesting build order here by Deer. And there is the scan. So very important scan by Flash. With that, he knows of course that it's going to be carrier, and with that I believe he's going to go massively into Goliaths. Let's have a look at his reaction. Immediately cancelling those Vultures, adding some turrets. More Goliaths should of course follow. He has now 5, even 6 factories. Yes, there it is, 6 factories, and this actually gives me the chills right here as he's going into a turret. So very interesting stuff here by Flash, as he's also moving out now with his Vultures, with his Goliaths and with his tanks right here. So it's going to be once again a timing push by him, as the Protoss is of course expecting this. The Vultures are in the front, moving very fast. The tanks are also here in position, ready to engage very soon. There are the Dragoons moving forward, and they're ready to snipe some mines here. So very nice stuff by him, but of course siege tank ability is needed. Still not going into more Goliaths here for Flash. So interesting enough, even though he knows that it's going to be carriers from the opponent, more and more carriers actually getting produced. He did scan this area right here, so he should of course know that it is carriers, but interesting enough, he's going into more Vultures and tanks. So what a surprising move here by Flash, perhaps thinking that 4 Goliaths would be enough against so many carriers, as the observer is moving here out. So quite a interesting. And there finally, hold on, we do have the reaction from Flash. Finally we do see 4 more Goliaths getting produced here by him, as Dragoons do move out here with shuttles, with Zealots. No speed has been done, but a very strong army here by the Protoss, looking really scary. And very soon some carriers will of course join them, regroup, or the carriers will be sent out separately. It could be also a possibility here for the Protoss, as still a stalemate here. Flash not deciding to move out. Perhaps he's waiting for the reinforcements for the Goliaths. Let's have a look at his upgrades very soon. One weapons upgrade. Have a look at the Protoss. I didn't see a forge, so no upgrades for him. The carriers also with no upgrades yet. Still just a very cautious gameplay, a very nice strategic gameplay, as who's going to be the one attacking first? The observer is nicely patrolling the middle of the map. What exactly is Flash waiting for? Perhaps for more and more Goliaths, as he's slowly but steadily moving here forward towards the map, and we might see a reaction very soon by him. No expansion, no second expansion for him. Pretty much investing all of that money into the mech units, into the Goliaths, and into the tanks, and we even have double upgrades here for him. So yeah, let's have a look how the game is going to continue. Who is going to be the one doing the first move? It's actually a double base Protoss versus a double base Terran, as they're still just patrolling the map, just inviting each other to attack, to do the first move. But once the Protoss reaches 4 carriers, it's going to be quite critical, quite hard for the Terran to counter it. He even has 2 Reavers on the ground, and even now attacking his own pylon, perhaps to test the carriers, how fast they're dealing damage. So quite interesting move here by Deer, just testing those carriers a little bit to see their might. And hold on, we actually do have a move out here by Flash. A good position here for those Goliaths, and now the interceptors are getting targeted. The siege tanks are sieging up. Interesting enough, the Reavers didn't react there. The tanks do take some damage out of the carriers. The Zealots are in the front, but they don't have speed, so quite a bad situation here for the Protoss as the engagement is continuing here. The Goliaths has pretty much intercepted all of those interceptors and just gunning them down, and all of a sudden a very static attack here. Not that much movement here from the Protoss, as all of those interceptors have been taken down by the Goliaths. Now the Goliaths are actually fighting here in the front, protecting the tanks in the back, as we have more and more interceptors getting produced here by the air. So in the end, a very nice balanced engagement here, but the carriers are now pretty much useless, as the Goliaths have done their job. They did snipe most of those interceptors, and now the siege continues here slowly but steadily. Flash is moving forward with his tanks, also having some mechanics here to repair the tanks, and he's nicely kiting those Goliaths back and forth, just sniping interceptor after interceptor. However, also some units are getting lost here by Flash. So in the end, a very balanced game, and we actually see a interesting GG out here for Flash. So Flash decides to GG out. The reason perhaps for this is given the fact that Deer has taken another expansion here, and those carriers haven't really taken any damage. In the meantime, Flash did however take some damage, so quite a surprising GG out here for Flash. Very early GG. I believe he could have stayed more into the game, but I guess he was thinking that in the end the economic advantage was way too much here for Deer. So quite interesting. If you ask me, I don't think he should have left the game, but yeah, of course he knows his calculations much better. So game number 1 going here for Deer. I believe he was just scared too much out of the strengths of those carriers, and Flash actually deciding to early GG out here in game number 1, giving Deer the 1-0 victory. Let's just go straight into game number 2. So yeah, if you ask me, game number 1, I don't think he should have left the game. He could have taken another expansion, he could have protected it with more Goliaths and more turrets. But yeah, like I told you, his experience is very strong, and of course, given the fact that he's the best player in StarCraft, the best Terran, of course, he did his calculation, he did his math, and he actually decided to GG out, perhaps due to the fact that the Protoss had another expansion and he could secure yet another expansion, and the economy from him would of course be overwhelming. So yeah, we have now in game number 2 spawning in the upper right part. In the red it is Flash, and in the low right in the yellow it is Deer. So yeah, Deer leading 1-0, but quite a surprise GG out if you ask me here by Flash. Let's just see what's going to happen in game number 2. What exactly, once again, their build orders are going to be now. Flash should of course known that a surprise carrier could come, but in the end he did actually scan the area with the starports into this location, so quite surprisingly still deciding to GG out there. And yeah, let's have a look what's going to happen here in game number 2. We have once again the normal build order here by the Protoss. Pylon into, no, actually it's Pylon into Gateway, so no intentions for him to go for the fast expansion just like he did in game number 1. This time he's going straight for Gateway first, and we see the supply depot and the barracks for Flash here. So pretty standard stuff here for both players. Small difference here for the Protoss. He's not going into a fast expansion. And also the first game he went into Nexus first, so that was quite lucky given the fact that Flash completely missed his scouting, but that's of course always a lucky move out, as he's now also moving out here onto the map around the 1 minute and 50-second mark. And this time, of course, being lucky, it looks like he's heading straight towards the lower right part of the map. So yeah, in case in game number 1 Flash would have done this, would have been lucky with the SCV scout, I believe the outcome would have been far different. He could have done a bunker rush like he has shown us in previous replays, and with that he would have very likely taken out the Nexus. But yeah, in the first game, sadly for him, his scouting wasn't lucky. So yeah, let's have a look what exactly he's going to be doing here. He sees the cybernetic score, sees the gateway, so yeah, he might go into his first factory very soon. Of course, you have the production tab here in the upper left part, just in case I'm missing something. So yeah, still scouting here the map a little bit, looking like how many probes are going to take the gas. Let's have a look if he has taken the gas. Yes, indeed, but he just mined a little bit of gas, and now he's going back into mining minerals. So interesting strategy here by Flash, giving more importance later on for the minerals. I believe he needed the gas just to make the factory here. So yeah, the scouting still continues. I believe the Protoss will now take his expansion, and he might also try to scout the map very soon, just to see exactly what the build order here from Flash is going to be, as we see Flash now also taking his expansion. So pretty standard stuff. The Dragoon will of course try to take out this SCV early on, dealing some good damage. Of course the probes block him a little bit, so Flash is going to try, of course, to stay as much as he can here into this location just to give more vision, but in the end he will be taken out. He saw the upgrade timing from the Dragoons. There is also a bunker getting produced here by him. The probe has scouted this out, so he pretty much knows what exactly the build order is, as the first Dragoons are also moving out here. For the Protoss, there is the expansion, so yeah, the bunker might take some damage very soon as the Dragoon is closing here forward towards the expansion point. Still one Marine only, the second Marine is also getting produced, so perhaps the Protoss will try to bypass this, but the wall is pretty much shut here. So very nice build order, a great SimCity build order once again here by Flash, pretty much blocking the entrance, also having this SCV right here, two Marines to secure the point. So very good placement there by his buildings, as he's now going into mines with vultures. Actually no, a tank is getting produced, so tank first, as we have the second gateway here for deer also getting produced. So it's going to be very likely mass gateway units for him versus the strategy here from Flash, versus the very likely going to be mass mech units as he's going into his second factory. So the first tank is out, mines are getting produced, vultures also going to get produced. So pretty standard stuff here, pretty nice stuff here, as once again deer is actually going for those pylons very far out, just to have more vision in case there's going to be a drop happening here by Flash. So pretty nice stuff. And deer is also preparing a wall off here into his location, as we have another factory getting no, actually it's an engineering base. So Flash of course doing the engineering bay just to have defenses, some turrets, just in case it's going to be a robotics facility bay for Protoss. And there it is, a little bit far out for the Protoss robotics facility bay, but he might very likely go into an observatory with some observers just to snap the mines from the vultures here from Flash. So yeah, nothing out of the ordinary, pretty standard stuff. Very defensive gameplay now here by the Protoss. Flash is of course going to try to deal some damage towards the Dragoons with his vultures. This is exactly why we should be seeing an observatory very soon here by the Protoss. Either that, or he might go into a shuttle gameplay with some Reaver to harass the mineral line from the opponent. Let's have a look exactly what the plan from Deer is, as a turret has been finished here, and actually Deer deciding to go for another expansion here. So investing into an expansion, going for another observatory. There's the armory here for Flash, but Flash will of course very likely scout this out with his speeding vultures. There is a Dragoon here but very soon Flash is going to try to bypass this to move forward. Quite a risky move here by him, as so many Dragoons. He's going to try to snipe one worker or two, but in the end this will be of course cleared. So a good snipe here by Deer, and I believe Flash still doesn't know about this. He has no comsat at home, none here into this location. So what exactly is his plan going to be here, as the Dragoons will now take cover here and protect the expansion point from the Protoss. Let's have a look. We do have the observatory here. More gateways actually getting produced here by Deer, so a completely different strategy, going to a second expansion point and going to more gateway units, as Flash just still placing more and more mines onto the ground. So pretty standard stuff by him. Let's have a look at the upgrades. Still no upgrades for the Terran, but I believe weapons 1 has indeed started. There we have the speed for the observer here, interesting enough, so not deciding to go for the shuttle speed for him. And yeah, it's just pretty much going to be mass gateway units for him, as the observer is reaching now the middle of the map. Is going to be very, very successful here, moving forward towards the expansion point, seeing of course what exactly Flash is having at home. And actually more and more factories are getting produced here, so it's going to be very important for the Protoss to see this, and with that we might have very soon of course 5, even 6 factories, as the turret will be able to take out the observer. But yeah, the information has been gathered. We do see the 6 factories here for Flash, and now I believe Flash is going to be able to find out that it is indeed a expansion here into his location. So with that we might see him do his known timing push versus the opponent. Siege ability is halfway getting done. There we have the upgrade for the weapons 1. We even have a Goliath in case the Protoss have some shuttles, but right now it's pretty much just mass Dragoons for him and mass gateways. So around the 9-minute mark I believe Flash is always moving out onto the map. He now has indeed 6 factories at home, so this looks indeed like a timing push. He is quite known for his timing pushes, and against masked Dragoons of course the tanks are very, very strong, and let's not forget that they are getting protected by the vultures in the front end. We do see a movement here by Flash. It is indeed around the 9-minute mark where he decides to actually move out. The observer is nicely seeing this with speed, but what can the Protoss do here? Speed for the Zealots has just now almost halfway getting done, but yeah, in comes Flash with his mech moving army. Of course the Protoss is going to try a flank here. He's going to try to snipe some units, perhaps trying to intercept some reinforcements. We even have the floating barracks and the floating engineering bay, as the mech units are moving here forward. Lots and lots of mines are getting placed down. The siege tanks are now sieging up a little bit late here for Flash, as the Zealots will get some good connections here in the front. Some siege tanks will take some damage. Not all of those siege tanks here are sieged up here for Flash, so a little bit of a bad position. Finally decides to kite a little bit back, inviting the Protoss to move here forward and immediately dealing splash damage. Weapons 1 has not been done yet for him. Speed will now be done for the Protoss very soon, as Flash is continuing to move here forward. A great placement here by those mines, as the Zealots, the reinforcements, will walk straight here forward to it and dealing more and more damage, taking more and more damage. We do have a shuttle, and now finally the tanks are nicely protected here by mines in the front and by vultures in the front here as well. Even the shuttle is taking some damage, the vultures are in the front. Let's not forget that Protoss has another expansion here into this location, so great stuff here by both players. It's a waiting game now here for the Protoss, as the tanks move, deal more and more damage towards the expansion point. More and more turrets are getting placed against the shuttles, against the observers. There's the shuttle gameplay, but the turret is going to be dropped very soon, and actually the Dragoons are attacking once again the buildings in the air. The tanks will deal great amounts of damage, so those buildings in the air once again giving great cover towards Flash and his army that is moving here forward. Quite nice stuff, and yet another turret is getting placed. So turret after turret, the siege continues here. The reinforcements are pulling forward for both players actually, but it looks like Deer doesn't really have that much being left. So many tanks are being left in the rear for Flash, and they're getting nicely protected once again by the vultures in the front. So is this perhaps a winning move? Yes indeed, it looks like the winning move. So once again the timing push, the known timing push here from Flash has worked out, as Deer has once again to out here. So now the GG here, or so very nicely done here by Flash with his timing push. So it's 1-1 right now. Greatly executed timing push here by Flash. Just like in many previous replays, it's working out really well for him. So in case you're a Terran versus a Protoss, you can learn of course from Flash how to execute that timing push only if the Protoss goes indeed for his third base there. So Yeah, let's just go straight into game number 3. Very, very nice stuff here by both players. We have now in the lower left, in the purple, it is Flash, and his opponent in the lower right, in the brown this time, it is Deer. So yeah, a very interesting game number 2, and a little bit of a greedy gameplay here by Deer, immediately getting punished by Flash with his timing push, with his tanks, with his vultures, and also those turrets also deal great damage against the observers and against the shuttle. So it's very important to just execute the timing push exactly just like Flash did it, and with that you should be of course successful against a greedy Protoss player. However, if the Protoss goes for 2 bases only and goes to carriers, of course it's quite risky to do that. And yeah, with that, let's just have a look what exactly is going to happen here in the last game, in game number 3. Like I told you, from October, recent replays finally onto this channel after many games from September. We do have some games from October here. We have the pylon getting placed here by Protoss, and once again gas could be taken, and he might once again try to create this triangle here to give him more power. And let's have a look what exactly Flash is going to be doing. His supply depot here with the gap in order to micro those units out of danger in case it's going to be an early harassment with some zealots for him. So yeah, for spawning location map once again, Terran versus Protoss. What's going to happen here? Flash, is he saving for a fast expansion, or is actually going for a barracks? And notice that there is once again a gap created here for those marines in order to be saved, in order to be microed left and right, up and down here in case there's going to be an early aggression by the Protoss. And a very risky move here by Deer. Just like in game number 1, he decides to go for a Nexus first. Actually, it's not that risky given the fact that it is a 4 spawning location map. But if the scouting is unsuccessful here for Flash, Deer is going to be safe. Let's see where exactly this SCV is moving out. It's very important here to see. Perhaps it's going to the upper right part of the map, or is he actually going towards this location right here? So with that, I believe Flash should have the advantage here. He might even try a SCV push versus this greedy gameplay here by Deer. So Deer might be in some early serious trouble here as the SCV is moving forward. He sees the timing from the expansion here, is moving forward. He sees the timing from the gateway, so he knows that he might have the advantage in case he would move out with a couple of marines, with a couple of vultures in case there will be vultures. Yeah, there is his factory, so we could see a timing push getting executed here by Flash as SCVs might get pulled. Last time I saw him do a bunker rush, it was 7 SCVs, 7 to 8 SCVs have been pulled as the marine is already moving out far out. So this could be indeed more and more indications to us that he indeed might try a timing push. He's doing more and more marines. 1 zealot is getting produced here for the Protoss. There we have the cybernetics core, so pretty standard stuff as the marines are moving more and more far out, also to intercept the scouting probe. So it's very important to have those marines out, not to let your opponent know what exactly your next move, what exactly your buildings are in the domain. And there's the move up, but that unlucky move here by Flash. Actually the probe will be able to sneak here by, so quite unlucky once again here. The marine will deal some damage finally, but the probe might be lucky here to move forward. And there's yet another marine, and with that I believe Deer might think, he might know that he even sees that another marine is getting produced. He might know right now that it is indeed a timing push. He immediately goes into 1 cannon. So there's the reaction. Quite an exposed cannon in the front, but still we do have some zealots ready to protect it as in comes the push. Let's have a look if there's going to be some SCVs. Just a vulture, just another marine, yet another marine getting produced. It doesn't look really like a bunker rush for Flash. Just straight only marines with vultures as the cannon, and the second cannon is going to be finished. So Deer looks like he's ready for this. So very nice, thoughtful gameplay here by Deer with 2 soon to be 2 cannons. I believe he's going to be ready to fend this off. So actually he went into Forge first, so it wasn't cybernetics core. This caught me complete by surprise. I wasn't thinking that it's going to be Forge, but yes, indeed he did the Forge first just to have protection. But Flash can of course nicely bypass this with the siege tanks. And let's just see what is going to happen here as more and more marines are getting sent out for Flash. Already at around 7 marines. Is he going to try to engage here forward as some vultures are even planting some mines? Very soon siege tank ability with siege tank is getting produced here for Flash. There's even more marines, so it's mass marines, and now we finally see the pull with the SCVs. So what a interesting game we have here, indeed the last game. This is going to work out for Flash, we're about to find out as the SCVs are moving forward. of course, to be used as cannon fodder in the front. There's only 2 zealots here, some cannons in the back. Let's have a look into the main. There's 3 gateways, soon to be 3 gateways, as we have more dragoons getting produced, but Flash is moving more and more forward. The SCV is also here in the front. He's preparing a pretty much full-on attack. Let's see how this is going to work out. The units are nicely clumping up together. Siege tank ability is about to get finished very soon. Is it going to be a sacrificial SCV move forward? There's the siege tank ability. The cannon will take some damage. And yeah, here we go. The attack is commencing here, is happening. The cannon is taking more and more damage. Protoss not deciding yet to move out. He's waiting for the reinforcements. Perhaps also waiting for the range to be done. As one cannon immediately getting taken out. This one siege tank, very, very valuable. In comes the reaction here by the Protoss. He's going to try to snipe this one important siege tank, but there is the surround with the SCV, so the mechanics are dealing great repairs here towards this one tank. He's still alive, and all of the units from the Protoss are pretty much taking more and more damage. The probes will now also try to fight here, so very, very great shield. SCV shield has been used here for Flash, so very, very rare sight indeed, surrounding this one tank. Saving this one tank. The second tank is also here. The Marines are still pretty much alive. There's dragoons in the back, but there's also many siege tanks in the back also here. 2 of them not getting touched, and now the SCV will give cover towards the fighting units here from Flash. And could this be the winning move? It kind of looks like it. He even places a bunker here to secure the sniping from this nexus. It's a very, very bad position here for the Protoss, as he has this to walk down this ramp, and those siege tanks will be able to deal so much splash damage towards the moving dragoons. And there they were going to try to snipe once again the tanks, but yeah, it's pretty much in vain, as once again the has been here casted by the air. So with that, once again, Flash with a different execution here, very, very smartly thought through, as a very, very patient gameplay here by him, having around 7 Marines, 3 tanks in the back, and that's around with the SCV, very, very nicely executed. The Protoss side, of course, to snipe the important tank, but the reinforcements are also here ready for Flash, and the surround with the SCV was really, really great, just creating a sort of a meat shield repairing towards the tank. Very, very nicely executed here by Flash. So yeah, quite an interesting series. Let's just check the stats very quick in case you guys are interested. You really can learn a lot of things here from Flash in case you face the Protoss. Quite chilling tactics here by Flash, as you can face the Protoss and really punish him for his greedy gameplay here. They're showing us once again that you don't have to turtle up into their main, and you can move out with your units, creating SCV shields towards your tanks and repairing them. Very, very nicely executed by him. And yeah, a great victory by him, taking this series 2-1. I hope you guys enjoyed. This is Tommy signing out.